There are moments that divide your life in half, before you saw it and after. I used to think vanishings were just stories. Then I saw one, and I wasn't the only one. Tonight's stories are not tales told around a campfire. They're not urban legends recycled for clicks. These are 3 encounters with the impossible. People who vanish in front of witnesses, without explanation, without trace. You might call them ghosts. You might say it was a trick of the light. But for those who saw it, nothing would ever be the same again. So turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and listen closely, because the next scream might not be on the other side of the screen. Story 1, The Vanishing Hitchhiker. I've driven that stretch of Highway 281 more times than I can count. I know every curve, every dip, every stretch of nothing but cactus and mesquite trees. But that night I saw something that doesn't belong to any highway map. Something I can't forget, no matter how hard I try. It was a Tuesday. I remember because I was supposed to meet my brother in San Antonio, but I'd gotten held up late at work. By the time I was finally on the road, it was almost midnight. The rain had started to fall. Not heavy, just a soft drizzle that misted my windshield and made the night glow with the haze of distant streetlights. I was about 20 miles north of town when I saw her. A figure standing alone on the shoulder of the road, arms crossed tight, wearing a pale blue dress that looked out of place, like something from the 1950s. Her hair was pinned up neatly, and she didn't seem to be carrying anything. No bag, no phone, not even an umbrella. Instinct said to keep driving. You don't stop for strangers at midnight in the rain. But something in her posture felt wrong. Not dangerous, just wrong. Like she didn't belong in this time. Like she wasn't supposed to be there. I slowed to a crawl and rolled down my window. "You all right?" I called out. She didn't answer. She just looked at me. Not scared, not relieved, just tired. So tired. "I need to get home," she said. "It's not far." I don't know why I said yes. Maybe I felt sorry for her. Maybe it was the way she spoke, soft and hollow, like every word carried a weight I couldn't hear. She climbed into the passenger seat without hesitation. Her dress was barely damp. We drove in silence for about 5 minutes. I glanced at her a few times. She didn't look at me, just stared out the window, hands folded in her lap. "Where am I taking you?" I asked. She turned her head slowly. "Old River Road," she said. "The house with the broken porch light." I knew Old River. It curved off the highway about 10 miles ahead, led to a handful of farms and abandoned ranch homes. Not many people lived out there anymore, but I nodded and kept driving. Then I noticed something odd. The dashboard clock had frozen. 12:08, I tapped it, but it didn't budge. My phone was dead, too. I knew it had at least 70% battery before I left. I turned to the woman beside me, and my heart nearly stopped. Her seat was empty. I slammed the brakes, swerving off to the shoulder. The passenger door was still closed. No sound, no movement, no sign that anyone had ever been there. I turned on the cabin light and searched the back seat. The floor, nothing. But then I saw it. A faint wet imprint on the seat, like someone had been sitting there. And something else, a single silver hairpin, resting where her hands had been. I sat there for what felt like an hour. I don't know how long, honestly. When I finally got the courage to drive again, I took the Old River turnoff, drove the whole length of it, and about halfway down, there it was, a house with a broken porch light. The windows were dark. The yard was overgrown, but I parked anyway, got out, knocked on the door. An old woman answered. Her hands trembled as she opened the screen. "I saw her," I said before she could speak. A young woman, pale blue dress. On the highway, she didn't look surprised, just sad. "That was my daughter," she said quietly. "She died in a car accident. Right there, right where you picked her up." I couldn't breathe. "She always tries to come home when it rains," the woman whispered. "Always around midnight." Backhand index pointing right if this story gave you chills. Hit the like button. Subscribe for more true horror encounters. And comment if you've ever picked up a stranger you shouldn't have. Story 2. The Disappearance of David Lang. I grew up hearing the story of David Lang. Folks in Tennessee treat it like folklore, something to scare children or amuse tourists. But my great-grandfather was there. He saw it happen, and he never laughed when he told it. He said it was a warm autumn afternoon in 1881. The sun was low, casting golden light across the Lang family farm near Gallatin. David Lang, a farmer, was walking from his front porch across the field to check on his horses. Nothing strange about that, until he vanished, not wandered off, not taken, not even stumbled. He took one step forward into the field, and never took the next. Right there in front of his wife, his 2 children, and a visiting neighbor, a judge named August Peck. David Lang simply ceased to exist. One moment he was there, the next, nothing. My great-grandfather, only a boy at the time, said it was like a ripple in the air, like the sunlight itself had been around David just as he stepped forward. There was no sound, no scream, no flash of light, just a sudden, jarring absence of a man who had been there a second ago. The horses in the barn screamed and bucked in their stalls. His wife collapsed to her knees. They searched for days. Men came from every county nearby. They combed the fields, dug up the soil, even drained a nearby pond. Nothing. No footprints. No torn clothing. No blood. No signs of struggle. Just a flat piece of field and the memory of where he had once stood. Weeks passed, then months. The Lang family never recovered. His wife grew pale and silent. The children stopped playing outside. But the strangest part came almost a year later. One morning, the daughter, Sarah, now barely 10 years old, wandered the same patch of earth where her father had vanished. She said she heard something. A voice, faint, dry, like a whisper across dust. She ran back to the house, screaming. The townspeople returned, some convinced it was proof of ghosts, others afraid something worse lingered in that place. They built a fence around the area, planted grass to mark it. No one stepped there again. The voice was never heard again. But strange things continued to happen near that spot. Birds wouldn't fly over it. Dogs would whimper and tug away if brought near. And every so often, someone would see a shimmer in the air, like heat rising from asphalt. Even on cold days, my great-grandfather left Tennessee not long after he turned 18. He said the land was cursed, that the Lang family had stumbled upon something old, something meant to remain unseen. He never went back. I still have his journal. The last thing he ever wrote about that day was only one sentence. There are places in this world where reality frays, and sometimes something slips through. Backhand index pointing right if this true tale from the past left you speechless. Make sure to like, subscribe, and tell us what you think happened in the comments below. Story 3. The M Cave Disappearance, Kenny Veach. I remember when I first stumbled onto Kenny Veach's YouTube channel. It was around 2014, and I was deep into internet rabbit holes, chasing stories of the unexplained. But nothing hit me quite like the M Cave. Kenny wasn't your average thrill seeker. He was an experienced solo hiker, ex-military, and a man who wasn't afraid of the desert. His videos were honest, unpolished, and filled with a kind of reckless curiosity I both admired and feared. In one of his uploads, he described finding a cave unlike anything he'd ever seen. It was shaped like a capital M, wedged between two rock faces in the Sheet Mountains north of Las Vegas. But that wasn't the strange part. When he stepped near it, his whole body began to vibrate, not just a tremor, a deep internal buzzing, like something inside the cave was reacting to him, or him to it. It scared him so much, he didn't go inside. He turned back. That alone would have made the story eerie enough. But the comments section lit up with challenges. Go back, they said. Bring a gun, bring a light, and film everything. And he did. His next video was him preparing to return. Calm, confident, almost eager. He laughed it off. Said if anything weird happened, he'd turn back. That was the last time anyone saw Kenny Veach alive. Weeks passed. His girlfriend filed a missing person report. Search and rescue scoured the trails. Eventually, they found his phone near an abandoned mine shaft. No tracks, no bag, no signs of struggle. Just a phone left neatly by a cave entrance, but not the M Cave. He'd never made it there. Or maybe he had. Here's the thing. People kept looking. Not officials, but internet sleuths, other hikers, conspiracy theorists. They pored over maps, analyzed every frame of his videos, trying to find where the M Cave was. Some said the government had sealed it off. Others claimed it was a natural infrasound chamber that could mess with your body, even your brain. But the theory that stuck with me was darker, that it wasn't a cave at all. That it was a threshold, something you weren't supposed to cross. I went looking for it once. Just once. I followed the coordinates others pieced together online. The sun was brutal. The rocks sharp and dry. Every ridge looked the same. Every canyon echoed back with the same dead silence. But then I found something strange. A patch of ground where my GPS wouldn't work. My phone froze. Compass spun uselessly. And for a second, just a second, I swear I heard something like a hum. Not loud, not external. A resonance in my chest. Deep and wrong. I turned back. Maybe I'm a coward. Or maybe I just listened to what Kenny didn't. The desert keeps its secrets. And some holes don't want to be found. But when I close my eyes at night, I still see that video. His face lit by the desert sun. His last words, "If I don't come back, call for help." We did, Kenny. We still are. Backhand index pointing right still think it was just a myth? Then don't forget to subscribe, drop a like, and tell us if you'd ever explore the M Cave yourself. You've heard the stories. Now ask yourself, what would you do if someone vanished in front of you? Would you believe your eyes? Or spend the rest of your life trying to forget? This has been Tales Nameless. Subscribe now. And remember, some things disappear for a reason.